Good afternoon, everybody. So, we're back again. I always say when I end the previous episode, like, okay, next episode we're going to do this, but then things change and the market moves and things pop up. So, uh, I know you were probably expecting, if you were watching last week, for me to go into the agency breakdown. Um, but we're actually still working on that internally, and I don't want to put something out there that's not really all the way thought through. Also, after having a bunch of sales conversations last week, I've changed my thoughts around my own high ticket coaching offer. And so, until those thoughts are adequately settled for me, I thought it wouldn't be beneficial to bring them out to you. Because while everything I talked about last week, I do believe will work, I don't believe now is the right time in the marketplace based off of some of the feedback I got on sales calls pitching these offers. So like I said at the end of the stream, you really don't know if your offer is going to connect until you actually put it out there in front of people. And while an offer might be good and an offer might be well priced, it doesn't mean people have the money to buy it. One of the biggest mistakes you can make with any offer is trying to pitch that offer to people that don't have the money to buy it. So, with that in mind, I had an interesting week. I had some people come in that the common thread was, "This is perfect. Where were you 6 months ago when I could afford it?" So that got me to thinking. And so we're still putting some finishing touches on some pivots, and I'll walk you through those once they're ready. But for today, I thought let's do a change of pace and talk about ads. If you've never written an ad, successful ad, honestly, they're pretty. It's a pretty daunting task because you're already coming up with the fact that you have to spend money on this. So that pressure, combined with the pressure that a lot more people are going to see this than your average regular social media post, unless you have a naturally huge audience, writing an ad can be pretty nerve-wracking. And I see a lot of people get stuck when writing ads because the thing they run into is they want to say so much, and they put this thing and they bare their heart and soul, and then they go and record it and they stumble through it and they get really like self-conscious that, oh, maybe I'm not good at this, maybe I can't do this, maybe this just isn't for me. And I just realized my microphone was like clear across the room, so if that whole first part was a waste, I'm sorry. I will check now to make sure this is all set up correctly. Let's see. Yes, it is. And so sorry about that. I hope you can still hear me, but if not, appreciate you giving me a second chance there. Anyway, so writing an ad is a daunting task. And if you've never written one before, or you write one and then you go to try to record it and it doesn't come out right and you're nervous, all these things compound to make this part of the marketing process, honestly, one of the most difficult. You can learn systems, you can learn software, you can learn how to write landing pages, but there's nothing more public than putting an ad out there in terms of your own persona and starring in it and reading the lines that you wrote. And so I thought that might be a good thing for us to focus on today, because I actually have a new ad that I'm working on that I'd love to share with you. So I've actually already written the ad for this, and this is for a workshop product, but I need to do two things with it. First is that it's too long. It's around 2 minutes long, and ideally I like my ads to sit at like 90 seconds or less. A lot of like marketers will say, oh, you have to have your ads be less than 60 seconds. You have to have, they have to be short. I used to have ad agencies tell me like that, their client wouldn't accept anything when we were doing like spec work. Anything that took longer than 15 seconds. This is back in the day where you had like, people running YouTube ads that were 5-second unskippables, and then you could skip. I think YouTube, I don't know, I've YouTube Red, so I have no idea what YouTube advertising looks like from the consumer's perspective. But with that old style of ads, really what it became is you have to tell this message quick. But the reality is if you have a compelling message, if you know who you're talking to, people will stick around a lot longer than you think. And so even though 2 minutes seems like a lot of time, it's really not in the grand scheme of things. That said, it does need to be a little bit shorter because I think there's some fluff there that we can cut out. So first thing we're going to do today is talk about what goes into an ad. Then I'm going to show you the ad I wrote, break it down into pieces so that you can kind of understand how I went about writing this ad and like what I'm thinking about when I'm writing it. Then we'll go through the process of shortening that ad, taking something that's long and then making it shorter. And then last but not least, I'll walk you through a live recitation of the ad. I have my phone set up. My setup is very weird today. You might see this little bar right here across the top of your screen. That's the top of my phone because I have my phone, which I have my teleprompter because I record all my ads on my phone. And we'll talk about why I do that here in a minute. But I have that there so I can read off the teleprompter, and I've been tinkering with this stuff for like 30 minutes trying to get it right. So hopefully it works. We're gonna see here. But to get started, let's go and I'm just gonna get my kind of screen pulled up here. So just give me a second. Let's see. And this should work. It almost worked. It cut my head off. All right, hold on. Let's fix that. And oh, look at that. All right. That's not it. This? No, that's not it. See, I'm still not an OBD Pro or OBS Pro. That's still something I could use some assistance on, but I do believe that all I have to do is, I'm sure there's someone out here who is great at this software who is just dying right now watching me do this. But bear with me. I will get better over time. Like a fine wine. There we go. That's perfect. Cool. All right, there we go. Look at that. That didn't take all that long. All right, so let's talk about what goes into an ad. The way you put an ad together is actually relatively simple when you break it down into its key components. The first thing you have is what we call like I gotta sort myself out here. I gotta move this so I'm not sliding off screen. Always have that hard time with the figuring out which direction I should be moving here. All right, move some stuff around. There we go. So the first thing you need is a qualifier. And all a qualifier does is really call attention to who you're trying to speak to in your audience, right? So service-based businesses, coaches, consultants, HVAC pros, people who own pets, whatever that is, you say that first and foremost, and you'll see this in most modern like TikTok ads. Modern TikTok ads is a bit of an oxymoron, but any ad you see out there, a lot of them are going to start with this kind of qualifier, especially if it's not just like clips or on-screen text or something. They're always going to start with a qualifier. Pennsylvania residents, that's a good one for like solar programs. These solar companies will just do Pennsylvania residents, Texas residents, so that people, when they hear it, they go, oh, I'm that, I should listen, this is for me. So you start with the qualifier. The next thing you need to do is you need to highlight the pain. And the way you go about this is really important. Now, if you think back to like infomercials from the 90s or even today, I mean, I guess they still make infomercials today, but I don't watch TV, so I can't really tell you what they look like anymore. But if you think back to like the Billy Mays days or the Vinny from ShamWow days, right? They always start with a pain. They always start with your current solution or lack of solution is leaving you in pain. Now, sometimes, in infomercials, they're greatly exaggerated, right? Are you tired of opening up chips and having them explode all over your kitchen? It's like, that probably happens like once in someone's life, but seeing it dramatized out makes people go like, yeah, no, I hate how that happens. And I'm a little gun shy now every time I open a potato chip bag because I think it's going to explode on me. So even something like that, that's a little dramatized, it still highlights that core pain that we all hold on to. And so that's why we start with it. That's why that's the first place we go once we've qualified out who our audience is what is this pain they're dealing with. Now you can do this by asking questions. You can say like, are you tired of, or does it feel like, or you know, you could even say something like, I know you feel. Those are all good things. They can all emphasize pain, but the pain and how you present it is actually less important than what comes next, which is empathy. And this is going to be a theme on these streams. I will tell you, like, empathy is the number one selling tool on the planet. Why people don't understand this, why people don't get that, like, literally millions are made every day from people because people show each other empathy. I just was on the phone with a client of mine this morning who told me about one of his clients who came in and bought like a $2,500 whatchamacallit from his business. They were so happy with the way they were treated that they turned around and spent $500,000 with them the next year. That's empathy. That's meeting them where they're at, showing them, hey, yeah, I understand your pain. Yeah, it's okay that you're only buying a $2,500 thing. I'm still going to treat you like $1 million client. And then that person comes back. Empathy is like, literally, I don't know why people don't use it more often or understand how to use it, because if you put empathy in your advertising, it's almost a guaranteed win. If you don't have empathy in your advertisement, you're going to have a really hard time making these numbers work. So we go to empathy next. Now, the next part is also very important, and that is the context. Context is one of those things that's very different. The context I use and how I connect with an audience is going to be different from the two people watching right now. I see you out there. And it's going to be different from any of the other people that might be going through this process, because the context is personal to your particular offer, to your particular skill set. My particular if my qualifier was small businesses and my pain point was, are you tired of marketing agencies taking all your money and not doing anything for you? My empathy might be, you know what, I've been there. I've lost money working with marketing agencies too. And I lost so much money working with marketing agencies that now I started an agency just so I could help business owners not go down the same rabbit hole I did. Or I started a coaching program to make sure small business owners didn't go down the same path I did and waste tons of money on marketing, right? So again, qualifier, small business, pain, wasting a lot of money on marketing. Empathy, I know how you feel. That happened to me too. Context, here's what I did about it, right? Here's why why I'm able to be empathetic to you and understand that pain, and here's what I'm doing about it. The next thing that we want to deliver is hope. This can be done in a lot of different ways. One, you can speak to the desired outcome and how you've gotten that outcome for other people. So this can be in testimonials. And there's a really simple like formula to this. It's essentially just like, person who was in this place, I took them to this place. So it's like a 2-sentence kind of testimonial. This is John. He was, $50,000 under $50,000 in debt to the IRS. In 2 months later, I had him paid in full and able to relax again with his family, right? And so it shows somebody that by giving you a little bit of trust, that there's hope for them. That if they just click that button, they might see some results as well. And then the last part is the call to action, right? What is the next thing that you need people to do? Now, there's some other elements in here that you might have. You may have pricing in here. Pricing would fit in, somewhere like right here. So depending on your ad, not every ad needs pricing, especially if it's like a customized service or if you're casting a wide net. So like if you've seen my ad on TikTok, it's a wide net ad. It's not meant to isolate a particular type of people. It's meant to bring in a lot of different leads so that we can sell them the different products we have. You might have package details or a solution where you kind of outline the solution, or at least what is the solution. That would go here, right? That's really it, though. Those are the only other two that you might kind of tuck in there, depending on the style of ad. But we'll talk about all of them in more detail as we look at the breakdown here. But as long as you understand this is the core structure of an ad, if you write within this structure, you're going to be successful. I can say that without a doubt, because I've written hundreds of these ads, and I have about an 80% success rate of a new ad hitting. And it's because I follow this formula every single time. I don't deviate from it because it works. And you can still, because it's not a template, it's not just plug, change out these words. All of my ads sound different, but they all follow the same procedure. And so that's really what you need to look for is you need a structure to follow. You don't need a template to fill in. Templates suck. They're not going to work for you. I mean, maybe once in a blue moon, something will hit because you just change the right amount of variables and your audience hasn't seen an ad that quite looks like that. Not worth the risk of alienating people because they've like, oh, I've seen this ad before. I've seen it, they say the exact same things. 3 pain points. You might only have 1 pain point. That's fine. Your empathy might be that you watched your brother-in-law go through this. It might not be that you went through it. It doesn't matter. The structure maintains, as long as you're working within the structure, it's going to maintain the success of the ad. So just screenshot this if you want. I have a whole workshop on this that I'm going to do later. But for right now, we are going to, let's do this. There we go. And now I'm going to show you the script I'm working on. So script them, and I'm leaning over because I can't see behind my phone, which is right here. So just give me a second here. Yes, I understand. I'm going to be live and sharing a screen here. There we go. So this is for a workshop I'm writing that is, what I didn't realize that. Oh, this was not well thought out when I was brainstorming this. I just realized that my phone is like right in the middle of the document, so I can't see it. So let's see. I'm gonna have to scoot over to this side a little bit. Okay, so I have 2 versions here, and the short version is actually just the long version. I just copied up here because I'm going to show you how to edit it, but this is the long version, right? And this isn't final. I did record this to see how it flowed, but it's certainly not something I'm going to post up right away. I still have a little bit of editing to do. But here's the basic premise, right? Are you a coaching consultant that dreads sales calls? I know I used to. From an outsider's perspective, it probably seems like sales is the best part of the job. That's when we get paid, right? Sales should feel like unwrapping presents at your birthday party. But unless you have that sales bro mentality inside you, most of us just want to show up, do a great job for our clients, and get paid what we're worth. All right, so let's break down this specific paragraph into the different parts. So first thing, that's my qualifier. If you are not a coach or consultant, keep scrolling. If you are a coaching consultant who loves sales, keep scrolling. But if you're a coach or consultant and you hate sales as much as I do, stick with me. I also, right in this very sentence, show the pain. So I'm blending the qualifier and the pain. That's why I'm saying this isn't a template. You can be flexible. You just need the elements in the right order. Now I'm going immediately into empathy. Right? So first thing I say, I know I used to. So I'm immediately positioning myself as, hey, I understand your pain. Next, we have from an outsider's perspective, probably seems like sales is the best part of the job, right? Again, showing that empathy of like, oh yeah, that's, shouldn't you love doing sales? Isn't that like the best part is getting paid, making money? Because that's what people assume. People assume like, oh, why wouldn't you want to sell your wares? Aren't you proud of what you do? Well, no, if you don't like sales, this is going to resonate with you. Next, that's when we get paid, right? Sales should feel like you're unwrapping presents at your birthday party. Again, capturing that moment of like excitement and joy and, ooh, what's going to happen next? And that's not. A lot of people just have anxiety about sales. They see a full sales calendar and it's like their worst nightmare because now they know they're going to be emotionally drained by the end of the day, because they're going to have to, put on this front, this sales bro front. But unless you have a sales bro mentality inside of you, which I know my audience doesn't, most of us just want to show up, do a great job for our clients, and get paid what we're worth. I cannot tell you how many times consultants have said this to me. I don't want to worry about my marketing or sales. I just want to show up, do a great job, and get paid what I'm worth. This is a common pain point, right? Even though it's not, I'm not putting it up here yet, right? I'm starting with a more like pain point, but I'm going to the real heart of the matter, right? I just don't want to do sales. Now, I'm going to go down to this next paragraph, right? So now we have, unfortunately, even with all those awesome marketing tools, funnel systems, and advertising strategies out there, the best way to close new business, especially the high ticket business we all want, is through video calls with our prospects. Okay, so now what I'm starting to do is I'm starting to unwrap the context around this. So now, again, I'm still in kind of pain mode. Like they're still kind of nodding like, yeah, that's true. The more calls I'm on, the more business I make, but boy, I hate it. So I'm still kind of there, but I'm kind of tiptoeing around the context piece here. Unless you're a naturally gifted salesperson or enjoy manipulative sales programs, again, pain point, they don't like these programs. They don't want to be a sales bro. They don't want to manipulate their people into a sale. They have to work with their people after all. Like that's the difference between someone who's doing SaaS sales and someone who's doing consulting sales. The SaaS sales guy closes the business and moves on, right? He's done. But if you're a coach or consult, you gotta work with this person. You can't manipulate them. That's awful. Like no good coach is going to manipulate you into a sale, and then turn around and work with you. Like that would just be insane, right? So we can't do that. The manipulative sales programs don't work, and they are advertised all over your feed, right? So then I say there's just no training out there that teaches you how to sell while staying true to your authentic self. This right here, another pain point. I don't feel like I'm staying true to my authentic self when I go through these problems. So I am just stacking pain on pain on pain on pain. I'm giving a little bit of context here or there to frame this so that I maintain this frame that, like, listen, if you dread sales calls, I get it. Here's all of the pain that we share. And then I come in with this solution. So I created one, and now we're into deep context. My name is Drew, as a marketing consultant. I have a natural knack for all things marketing. But when I started this journey, I was a terrible salesperson. Oh no, empathy again. I'm showing this is why I understand it. I understand it because I wasn't good at this. So I did the obvious thing. I invested thousands in online training, selling books on selling, and even hired a consultant to help me figure out what I was doing wrong. Again, I'm providing a little bit of context. I'm showing that I share their pain because they all probably did this too. And when I finally figured it out and put it on paper, I felt I needed to share it. So now we're getting into that solutions part. So if we go back, I can't switch. Shoot. That's a bummer. I'm just going to stop. I'm going to stop sharing. We're going to do this. All right. Because I want, this is a, oh, that wasn't the right thing. Okay. So like we have the qualifier. We called them out. We have a bunch of pain. And with that pain, we're showing empathy. We're giving them the context of like, hey, I went through this too. I struggled with this. I spent a bunch of money. That's why I'm so empathetic. That's why I understand your pain. Now we get into the solution, right? So now that's where we're at. Okay. So let's, I don't know, this might be one level too deep into Inception here, but we're going to try it. Where's my mouse? Oh, it's on the other screen. There we go. Okay, screen. I understand. Sales workshop. All right, let's see how this looks to you guys. This is just a disaster. Oh my gosh, you guys weren't even. I'm sorry, I messed up there. It wasn't sharing on the screen. Oh, I just realized all those times I was sharing. Oh no, I guess this is the first time I was sharing. So that's okay. I was reading it out to you, so we'll just go over quickly. This this is essentially all we covered so far. So for those of you that were listening, it was all the way up to here. So essentially, this first part, this is your qualifier right here. And then we immediately go into, and then this is also your qualifier with your first pain point. Then we go into the empathy, and we start really hammering home on, why is this thing so painful? Why does it feel like everyone thinks sales should just be so easy? I should be excited to do sales. It should feel like a birthday present, but it doesn't, right? It doesn't. I just want to show up and do a great job for my client, get paid what I'm worth. That's what we're really targeting. Now, if we go down to the next line, unfortunately, even with all those awesome marketing tools, funnel systems, and advertising strategies out there, the best way to close new business, especially high ticket business, is through the video calls prospects. Again, hammering home the fact that we all know this, we all understand this. I'm empathetic towards it. That this is yeah, we have all these great tools, but we still need to do video calls. And then again, pain point, unless you're naturally gifted salesperson or enjoy those programs, those manipulative programs, which I know they don't, then there's nothing for you, right? There's no training that teaches you how to sell while being true to yourself. Do I know this for certain? No. The world's a wide place. There might be something out there. I've never found it. And that's why I created this. So I created one. Now I'm into the context, right? My name's Drew, marketing consultant, natural knack for all things marketing, started this journey, so on and so forth. And again, I'm just doubling down on all these pain points people have told me. People told me that there's no training program out there that does this. They told me that they just want to get paid. They don't want to have to worry about sales. They told me that they don't like manipulative sales practices. All these things I can nod along and say, yeah, I know. I felt the same way. And so, Control Z that. I don't know what happened there. So then I get it all down, and then I come to the solution. So again, you're not going to have a solution in everything. This is to sell a workshop. So I have to put the solution because that's the thing they're clicking on. So I put together an online sales workshop that's unlike anything you've ever experienced in the past. So immediately distancing myself from setting up this expectation that this is not your average sales training. This is something completely different. I'm building that anticipation of, well, what's going to be different? So this whole time, because I'm telling their story, because I'm hitting all of these pain points, they're locked in. They're not scrolling away because they're nodding their head going, yeah, no, this sounds exactly like me. This is exactly how I feel. Now, there is a limit to that. You don't want to go into a doom spiral with them where you're just going deeper and deeper and deeper into pain and there's no way to pull it out. And that's one of the pieces I'm going to look to cut when we come back to shorten this up, is because I think there's a little bit too much of that in there. But back to the solution. I put together this on online sales workshop, anything you experienced in the past. And now I'm giving them hope, right? Instead of manipulation, I'll teach you how to honestly connect with a perfect stranger. Instead of trying to withhold value until they buy, I'll teach you how to give them just the right amount of value to get them hooked. Instead of trying to make you sound like an infomercial during your close, I'll show you how to instantly align your pitch with the prospect's needs and ask for the sale in the easiest and most natural way possible. No more stumbling over your words as you ask for their credit card. So even with these, what I'm highlighting is what their fear is, what they don't want, and how this is going to provide the opposite of that. They don't want manipulation. They want an honest connection. They don't want to have to withhold value and feel like they're holding something back. I know consultants are like this. I know you are all out there thinking the same thing. I don't want to go and feel like I can't tell them anything. I can't help them in their time of need until they give me a paycheck. That just feels really disingenuous. I get it. So I'll show you how to do it so you don't withhold value. And the last thing is, everybody's always worried about coming on these ads or coming onto a sales call and sounding like an infomercial. It's only $9.99. There's a better way to do it. You don't even have to ask for the sale. Everybody's so scared about asking for the sale, but there are things that you can do to avoid that entirely. So you don't ever have to ask for the sale. You literally just get them to give you your credit card number. It's a very easy thing to understand and use, but until someone explains it to you and shows it to you, it's very difficult to figure that out. So all of these things are highlighting that fear that they have, or that pain that those individual pains, and how I'm going to turn those pains around. The best part, I'm going to show you how to do all of this in a single 45-minute sales call and master the one call close. So this part right here is like the hope bomb. Like what I'm giving them here is I'm giving them an unbelievable expectation, right? This is just that is such an unbelievable promise. And the reason I can say that is because I do this every single day. I get on 45-minute sales calls and close 4-figure and 5-figure clients all the time. And I do it on a one-call close because I have this system mastered. So I am sure, because I've taught other people how to do this and they've closed 4- and 5-figure business on a single call, that this is possible. You just need to know how to do it. And so I then say, I do a little bit of a little bit of like preemptive selling here, where it's like, hey, it costs less than a night out with your friends. Again, I'm not using a specific number, because what if I want to change the price? If I say $97 here, or $100 or $300, I have to then go back and redo this ad. What if this ad does gangbusters? What if this thing sells like crazy and I get 400 people on this call? Do I really want to like keep my pricing the way it is? No, I want to raise it. If I'm getting 400 people, I'd rather get half as many paying twice as much so I can work with fewer people, and just make sure that those people have a great experience as opposed to a more watered down experience. So I don't want to put the pricing in there, right? I want to leave that kind of vague at this point. Now, eventually I'll settle on pricing and maybe I re-record it and add it, but for right now, I don't want it in there. Now, here's where I go into like a risk reversal, right? I'm so confident in this training, for whatever reason it doesn't work, I will personally coach you until it does. Now, notice I don't say I'm going to be at your beck and call. I don't say that I'm going to, come to your bar mitzvah. I don't say that you have my 24-hour phone to call me when things go bad, or that I'm going to sit in the sales calls, but that I will coach you. I get to determine how I coach you, but it still works, because everybody knows that if I wasn't confident that I could make this work for you, I would not have someone sitting in session after session with me saying it's not working, it's not working, it's not working, because that would be bad for business. So obviously, if I can make this promise, I'm pretty confident that this is going to work for you. And I am. So I don't mind offering it. So again, I'm removing that risk. I'm removing the risk of, hey, this is going to cost too much money, because most sales programs cost a fortune. And I'm removing the risk by saying, listen, I will make sure this works for you. So then we have the last part, is the call to action. If you want more money, less stress, and a greater sense of authenticity in your sales process, and a greater sense of authenticity in the sales process is what you're looking for, click the button below and register for the training. There are only 30 spots available, so register now, save your seat. This scarcity, you could say, oh, that's so fake. That doesn't really, no, like I really am capping it at 30 people. Why am I capping at 30 people? Because I want to be able to manage the number of people coming in. I don't want 2,000 people in here, right? I also can, because I have that hard limit of 30 people, I can now say it's only 30 people with absolute certainty. I don't have to pretend that there's more spots than there are. So using a little bit of scarcity in the call to action is a good way to inspire the click, let alone the conversion. So this is just the front door. This is just the first thing they see. There's another video we have to write that's 5 minutes long that goes into the program in more detail, talks about the modules, all this stuff. But this is really just supposed to inspire that initial click. So with that, give me a second here. I'm going to Marcellus. Yeah, I'm glad that usually I'm doing all the screen sharing through OBS so that I don't have that happen all the time. But yeah, there we go. Okay, so let's there we go. That looks a little better. Let's see how else can we do this. No, that's not going to work. Yeah, I guess we'll do this for now. I have to make that bigger though, so you guys can see it. Let's zoom in a bit. All right, let's see how that looks on your side. Oh, that's much easier. I should have done it. Oh, thank you very much, Marcellus. Appreciate you. So essentially, we have this this long version down here, and I'm going to leave that alone because anytime I write an ad, I always like I usually write ads in like bursts. So I will just write the whole thing. I'll sit down, write the whole thing out in 30 minutes, 10. It usually takes me like 10 or 15 minutes. I think this one took me around 15 to 20 minutes because it's a little longer. But I never want to lose that because a lot of times some of my like in the moment sayings and turns of phrase and everything, if I might delete it later and then I'll want to go back to it. So I always save the long version just in case. Also, if the ad doesn't work, now I have another version that I can record. But for the short version, we gotta clean this up because this thing is just a little bit hairy, a little bit ugly, a little bit not so great. So I'm gonna try something here. I don't know if this is gonna work, but we will see. There we go. Yeah, that worked fine. All right. So, are you a coach or consultant who dreads sales calls? Well, I like that, so I'm not going to lose that. I know I used to. From an outsider's perspective, probably seems like sales is the best part of the job. That's when you get paid. That's when you get paid. Sales should feel like unwrapping presents at your birthday party, but unless you have that sales bro mentality, uh, most of us want to show up and do a good job. I like this last line. I'm not really sure on this, so I'm just going to strike this through. Again, I'm not deleting anything. I'm just kind of crossing stuff out, see where I can trim here. Unfortunately, with all, so I actually kind of think like maybe I could use this and go, or maybe I just kill this. Maybe I just lose this whole section. That might not be. It might not be important to keep that. We'll see. Well, that might get the chop and block. Unless you're a naturally gifted salesperson, enjoy manipulative sales with programs. I like this part. I don't want to lose this part. There's no training program that teaches you how to sell without staying true to your authentic self. So I like this. So one thing I could do is I could say, like me, you'd probably skip sales process all together. If you're like me, if you're like me, you'd rather skip the sales process. If you're like me, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that really works. Probably no, something's not right there. Something's not clicking for me with that line. Yeah, I think I got to come back to it. So I'm just going to strike this through. And I can't go straight from this. I can't just cut that piece out because then this line doesn't make sense, right? But what I could do is I could say, are you a coaching consultant that dreads sales calls? Unfortunately, even with all the marketing tools out there, best way to closing business, but high ticket business we want is through video calls with our prospects. And then I could say, but unless you have that sales bro mentality, most of us just want to show up and do a great job for it. So that might actually work. So I could just kind of rearrange this, take out this section. Fortunately, even with all the awesome marketing tools, funnel systems, and advertising strategies out there, the best way to close new business, especially high ticket business, the high ticket business we all want, is through. And I'm going to change this to conversations because it's not all video. It doesn't have to be a video call. It could be a phone call. It could be a face-to-face. Is high ticket we all want. It's through conversations with our prospects. That's still a mouthful. I think we all want. Talking with our prospects. especially with the high ticket we all want, is by talking with our prospects. It's by having sales. Is by having sales conversations. Is by having sales conversations with our prospects. It's more wordy, but it better aligns. But unless you have that sales bro mentality inside of you, most of us would rather skip the sales call entirely. Just show. Sales process, sales call entirely. Get to work doing what we love, helping our clients in the process. I don't think the paid, like, I know this is good, but I just think this works better, and I think it's shorter. Like, we've already cut a ton out of this so far. So like this probably is equivalent to at least like 5 or 6 seconds that we've cut out, which, might not seem like a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, the closer we can get it to that 90-second mark, the better this thing is going to perform. Skip sales and just get to work. Unless you have that sales bro mentality inside of you, most of us would rather skip the sales call entirely and just get to work doing what we love and helping our clients in the process. Yeah, it's kind of like, it doesn't make sense because, like, well, how are you going to do that without the sales call? But I do think it speaks to the emotion of like, I don't want to do the sales call. Just let me do the work. So I'm good with that. Unless you're naturally gifted salesperson or enjoy the manipulative sales program, you'll find advertise all over your feed. There's just no training program that teaches how to stay authentic. All right, so I like that, but so actually, I think I want to do this, and I want to just take out that line altogether. I think. I like that sales bro mentality, but I already say the manipulative sales bro programs. And I don't think we need that because, yeah, we don't need to say that because if you dread sales calls, you're definitely not a sales bro. So we can just take that one out too. My name's Drew, and as a marketing consultant, I have a natural knack. I don't like two N sounds back to back like that. It's kind of weird. I think I'm going to take that part out. I'm going to say, my name's Drew. My name's Drew. First launched my coaching and consulting practice more straight to the point. I was a terrible salesperson. So I did the obvious thing. I invested thousands in online sales training, books on selling, and even hired a sales consultant to help me figure out what I was doing wrong. And when I finally figured it out and put it on, when I finally figured out a system that worked, knew I needed to share it. Now, one thing that's missing here is the empathy connection for the Sales Bro program. Like I kind of go into that, but I'm not really, and I don't love that. Like I really want to see that connection be more like tangible when we're talking about it. So let's enjoy manipulating sales programs. You'll find advertised over fee. There's no training program out there that teaches you how to sell while staying true to your authentic self. So I created one. My name's Drew. When I first launched my coaching and consulting practice, I was a terrible salesperson. So I did the obvious thing. I invested thousands in online sales training. Helped me figure out what I was doing wrong. After suffering through too many sales seminars, touted focused on manipulating seminars. Many sales trainings. And no, I think I'm going off the rails. Earned now this is I could go down the rabbit hole if I learned a secret skill. Like we call this like the Ninja Master kind of pitch where it's like, you know, it's this secret thing. And I could kind of position empathy as like that secret thing. Because it's called the empathy first sales system. So I mean, that is the thing. But I don't know if I really want to go into it here. Because again, it feels like right, like I can't manipulate people into buying while I'm trying to teach them how to not manipulate people into buying. So I'm walking a very fine line here between the two. So much more. Realized that all these sales guru missing the one thing that all these trainings, sales trainings. Okay, yeah, all right. I think I'm back on track here. Missing the one thing I had defined. Missing the one thing that I defined myself as. No, the one thing find I'm missing the one thing that defined me as coach and consultant. Now what I could do is I could cut the system out altogether, and I could just go straight to I put together an online sales workshop. So I created one. My name's Drew. When I first launched my coaching and consulting practice, I was a terrible salesperson. So I did the obvious thing. I invested thousands in online sales training, books on selling, and even hired a sales consultant to help me figure out what I was doing wrong. But what I discovered was so much more. I realized that all these sales trainings were missing the one thing that had defined me, as a coach and consultant: empathy. Without that one key piece puzzle, back. I know how it redesigned my entire sales process, and within days was closing thousands, and I can say tens of thousands in new business each week. And then my new system worked so well, I knew I needed to share it. Okay, so I've put together an online that's unlike anything you experienced. I'm not going to change any of this because I really like that. But the best part is I'm going to show you how to do all this in a single 45-minute sales call and master the one call close. The workshop costs less than a night out with your friends and gives you the skills to close millions of dollars deals. So I'm actually going to reverse these two, because I think it's better to hit price last. Oh, the other thing, if you guys aren't doing page free mode, I don't know what you're doing with your life. It's just so much nicer. Yeah, there we go. I do have to bring in the margins because that is going to be hard for me to read, I will say. And that didn't work at all. Great. That's super. I'm used to doing this on a much more narrow screen, and I didn't realize with the nope, that didn't work. I can never. Is it just me, or does anyone else actually know how to use these things? I've been a word processor user since I was like 4, and I have no concept of how these are supposed to work. Let's see. Maybe if I select it all. Hey, look at that. That actually did something. Oh, cool. I think that's the first time I've ever used these, and they've actually done what I expected them to do. Well, all right then. Okay, so let's clean this up a little bit. This up. going to draw a line there just so I can visually see it as I'm reading through it. And so here's what we're going to do. This is what I do with every single one. I pull up a timer on my phone. So I shouldn't have set my phone up to begin with. I should have just done it after the fact. I thought I was saving myself work, but I was not. So really all I do in this part is I just pull up the timer app on my phone and I just start it and read it. And that's how I come up with my timing. And I read it. This is like kind of like the practice. So I'll read this again and again and again until I'm pretty confident. And I'll also use it to catch typos and weird grammar issues and all of that before I go and put this into the teleprompter software. Because once it's in the teleprompter software, it's a pain in the neck to edit. So I really want to do as much practice in this format first before I go and drop it into the teleprompter. So let's get started. Are you a coach or consultant who dreads sales calls? Unfortunately, even with all the awesome marketing tools, funnel systems, and advertising strategies out there, the best way to close new business, especially the high ticket business we all want, is by having sales conversations with your prospects. And so see, I'm already kind of finding this is supposed to be, but unless, especially the high ticket business, we all want. Unfortunately, even with all the awesome marketing tools, funnel systems, and advertising strategies, the best way to close new business, especially high ticket business. And I'm just going to take out we all want. It's redundant. It's through sales conversations, especially high ticket business through sales conversations with our prospects through is a better way to go, through sales conversations with our prospects. All right, let's try it again. Reset. Are you a coach or consultant who dreads sales calls? Unfortunately, even with all the awesome marketing tools, funnel systems, and advertising strategies out there, the best way to close new business, especially high ticket business, is through sales conversations with our prospects. But unless you're a naturally gifted salesperson or enjoy the manipulative sales bro programs you'll find advertised all over your feed, there's just no training out there that teaches you how to sell while staying true to your authentic self. So I created one. My name is Drew. When I first launched my coaching and consulting practice, I was a terrible salesperson. So I did the obvious thing. I invested thousands of dollars in online sales training, books on selling, and even hired a sales consultant to help me figure out what I was doing wrong. But what I discovered was so much more. I realized that all these sales trainings were missing one thing that had defined me as a coach and consultant: empathy. I went back and redesigned my entire sales process, and within days, I was closing tens of thousands in new business each week. My new system worked so well, I knew I needed to share it. I've put together an online sales workshop that is unlike anything you've experienced in the past. Instead of manipulation, I'll teach you how to honestly connect with a perfect stranger. Instead of trying to withhold value until they buy, I'll teach you how to give them just the right amount of value to get them hooked. Instead of trying to make you sound like an infomercial during your close, I'll show you how to instantly align your pitch with your prospect's needs and ask for the sale in the easiest and most natural way possible. No more stumbling over your words as you ask for their credit card. But the best part is, I'm going to show you how to do all of this in a single 45-minute sales call and master the one call close. I'm so confident in this training that if for whatever reason it doesn't work for you, I will personally coach you until it does. The workshop costs less than a night out with your friends, and it will give you the skills to close millions of dollars of new business year after year. So if more money, less stress, and a greater sense of authenticity in your sales process is what you're looking for, click the button below and register for this training. There's only 30 spots available, so register now to save your seat. So somehow, with all that editing, we shaved 8 seconds off. Holy cow. I felt like I cut out a paragraph and a half, and yet it's still at 152. Now, granted, there are some things in there, like you can count for a couple seconds. Like we could say it's down to 150 because I didn't start like right when the timer started. But still, that's long. That's a pretty long pitch. Now, I do like it, but I think it's worth going through one more time and seeing if we can cut anything else out. So are you a coach or consultant? This is gold, not losing that. Unfortunately, even with all the awesome marketing tools, funnel system, and advertising strategy out there, the best way to close new business. So maybe I don't need this. Best way to close new business. Even the best. So maybe Maybe it's like even the best funnel can't come close. No, because that's not true. Because there's people out there that have great funnels that are better. Like they don't need to have sales conversations. They run application funnels. Well, yeah, it might be an application funnel. They still have to talk to a salesperson. Fortunately, even you have the greatest sales funnel, or greatest lead funnel in the world. See, this is why, like, to me, editing process is so much more frustrating than a writing process. Writing I can get done easily, but when it comes down to like really cutting back what you're saying, that is a challenge, man. I'm just gonna go say we don't use word processors anymore. I see you, Marcel. I came back just to see what your commentary was going to be. Unfortunately, even with all the awesome marketing tools, funnel system, advertising strategies, the best way to close new business, especially high-ticket business, is through sales conversation with prospects. I feel like that's a strong piece of it. It just feels too wordy. Yeah, I'm going to move on. I don't think I can cut that piece. But unless you're a naturally gifted salesperson or enjoy the manipulative sales program, you'll find advertised all over your feed. There's just no training program out you that teaches how to sell without staying true. Okay, so maybe it's this part. So I created one. My name's Drew. When I first launched, name's Drew. And when I first launched my coaching, this is like a little thing, but like, I'm just going to remove the coaching bit. My name is Drew. When I first launched my consulting practice, I was a terrible salesperson. So I did the obvious thing. I invested thousands in online sales training, books on selling, and even hired a sales consultant to help me figure out what I was doing wrong. Only thing I ended up learning all these trainings missing the one thing that defined me as a consultant: empathy. So I decided to go back and redesign my entire process with an empathy first mindset. This is my not is this new system. I was closing tens of thousands in new business, thousands of dollars in new business each week. Put together an online sales business. I knew this system worked. I knew the system works. The system works so well. I knew I needed to share it. put together an online sales training. Online sales workshop is unlike anything you've experienced in the past. Instead of manipulation, I'll teach you how to honestly connect. Instead of trying to withhold value until they buy, I'll teach you how to give them just the right amount of value instead of trying to make. The best part, I'm going to show you how to do all of this in a single mess. I'm so confident I'll put your coach to cost less than, and then I'll do the so if more money, less stress, and a greater sense of authenticity in your sales process is what you're looking for, click the button below to register for this training. There are only 30 spots to register. I'll say receipt. I don't know. I really feel like that might just be it. I feel like if I cut anything else out, it might start negatively impacting the read. So we'll read through it one more time. We'll see where we're at. I think I might have actually added time back in, which I hope I didn't, but we will see. We will see. Oh, I don't know what I just did. I hope that didn't delete anything. Let's see. Undo. Let's hope I just pressed didn't press the delete key or anything. All right. Are you a coach or consultant who dreads sales calls? Unfortunately, even with all the awesome marketing tools, funnel systems, and advertising strategies out there, the best way to close new business, especially high-ticket business, is through sales conversations with our prospects. Unless you're a naturally gifted salesperson or enjoy the manipulative sales bro programs, you'll find sales bro. I'm going to, all right. I already figured out some things I could change here. All over your feed. I'm just going to take out this word. All the marketing tools, funnel systems, and advertising strategies out there. The best way to close. Okay. All right. Let's try it again. Let's see. Reset. Are you a coach or consultant who dreads sales calls? Even when, I don't know where that came from. All right, let's try that again. Are you a coach or consultant who dreads sales calls? Unfortunately, even with all the marketing tools, funnel systems, and advertising strategies out there, the best way to close new business, especially high-ticket business, is through sales conversations with our prospects. But unless you're a naturally gifted salesperson or enjoy the manipulative sales bro strategies you'll find all over your feed, there's just no training program out there that teaches you how to sell while staying true to your authentic self. So I created one. My name's Drew, and when I first launched my consulting practice, I was a terrible salesperson. So I did the obvious thing, right? I invested thousands in online sales training, books on selling, even hired a sales consultant to help me figure out what I was doing wrong. The only thing I ended up learning was that all these trainings were missing the one thing that had defined me as a consultant: empathy. I decided to go back and redesign my entire process with an empathy-first mindset. And within days of implementing this new system, I was closing tens of thousands of dollars in new business each week. The system worked so well, I knew I needed to share it. I put together an online sales workshop that is unlike anything you've ever experienced in the past. Instead of manipulation, I'll teach you how to honestly connect with a perfect stranger. Instead of trying to withhold value until they buy, I'll teach you how to give them just the right amount of value to get them hooked. And instead of trying to make you sound like an infomercial during your close, I'll show you how to instantly align your pitch with your prospect's needs and ask for the sale in the easiest and most natural way possible. No more stumbling over your words as you ask for their credit card. The best part, I'm going to show you how to do all of this in a single 45-minute sales call and master the one-call close. I'm so confident in this training that if for whatever reason this doesn't work for you, I will personally coach you until it does. The workshop costs less than a night out with your friends and will give you the skills to close millions of dollars in new business year after year. So if more money, less stress, and a greater sense of authenticity in your sales process is what you're looking for, click the button below to register for this training. There are only 30 spots available, so register now to save your seat. So I actually did cut it down. It's like 1:48. And again, there's 2 or 3 areas in there that I repeated myself, I think. So you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm okay. To close, that will give you the skills you need. Those millions of dollars in new business year after year. So, if more money, less stress, and a greater sense of authenticity in your sales program, is what you're looking for. A greater sense of authenticity. I'm just going to take this part out. So, if more money, less stress, and a greater sense of authenticity. If more money, less stress, and a greater, less anxiety. More money, less anxiety, a greater sense of authenticity is what you're looking for. Click the button below. Register now to save your seat. So I think we're good. So now the next part of this process, I'm glad, not too wordy. We don't. Okay. I'm glad this is passing the sniff test, Marcellus. All right. So now what we need to do is we need to load this into Big View. And the trick with Big View is you can't have line breaks. And the reason you can't have line breaks is because it will mess up your read. This is such a common issue that people face when they load their stuff in. They go like, oh, I can't get the teleprompter to go at the right speed. It's either going too fast or too slow. And then I look at their script and there's a bunch of line breaks. When you're working with a teleprompter, and this, I mean, maybe there's a teleprompter that does this differently, but generally speaking, you got to remove line breaks when you're working with a teleprompter. It'll screw you up. Speaking of Big View, I am going to be on a live stream with them this week. I think on Thursday. I got to check the calendar. Talking about this very topic, talking about empathy in the sales process and empathy in your advertising. So make sure you check that out. I'll get you the details there shortly. But let's see. We got... All right, we got all that loaded. And I don't think you'll be able to see this next part. Well, no, I can. Well, I got to check here. Let's see. All right, so share this. So this is the backside of Big View. If you guys don't use Big View, you're missing out. Big View is an absolute game changer. And this right here is the script. And this is the one I already recorded. So I did a little test record of this before. But now we have everything buttoned up. I'm going to put that in. And now I can do this read and record thing if I wanted to record it here. I'm going to save it. That is then going to get transferred to my phone. I'm then going to set up my phone. And you guys are actually going to see the legitimate one-take recording of this. And the ad isn't going to go up today. I'm still working on the back end of this offer, and I will show you that before we leave. But there we go. Let's get this set up. Okay. And my eyeline is going to be totally off on this. So you guys will just have to forgive me for looking kind of weird for a minute. But I'm probably going to be a little quieter now. I got to move the mic away. All right. So So one of the tricks you can do, and I wish I could screen share this, but I haven't figured out how to connect like a phone while doing this. But like I have this on this kind of like Gorilla Pod, and I'm not really sure if it's like, even or not. Inside your camera settings, there's a thing you can use to show whether or not your camera's balanced. So that's usually how I usually do that first, and then figure out if I need to adjust it from there. I don't. Let's see. That's so funny. I think they took. It's full HD. Steadicam. I don't need Steadicam. It's really odd. So there was a thing that you could adjust the grid, and like you could do different grids, and it looks like they took that feature out. I don't know. It was there last time I recorded. So we're just going to have to eyeball this thing. Let's see. All right. So biggest thing when you're setting up one of these is that you want your head about a thumb's distance from the top of the screen. So usually I just kind of wherever your hairline kind of starts, that's where you start. And that's about right for me. All right. Let's see. So like I'm already noticing in here that it doesn't have the new script. So I got to exit out, go back in, double check. Yeah, this isn't right. So I'm going to refresh it. Script. Yup. Done. Record. All right. Here we go. Actually, get a drink before I do this. Now, this is the moment, by the way, that as soon as I start doing this, Miss Rachel is going to come on the television downstairs, and my daughter's going to start like crying or something. And that is how this usually works out. So if that happens, I called it. All right, here we go. Are you a coach or consultant who dreads sales calls? Unfortunately, even with all the marketing tools, funnel systems, and advertising strategies out there, the best way to close new business, especially high-ticket business, is through sales conversations. But unless you're a naturally gifted salesperson or enjoy manipulative sales bro strategies, find yeah, first read on a teleprompter is always trash. So we'll just take that straight from the top. Are you a coach or consultant who dreads sales calls? Unfortunately, even with all the marketing tools, funnel systems, and advertising strategies out there, the best way to close new business, especially high-ticket business, is through sales conversations with our prospects. But unless you're a naturally gifted salesperson or enjoy the manipulative sales bro strategies you'll find all over your feed, there's really no training program out there that teaches you how to sell while staying true to your authentic self. So I created one. My name is Drew, and when I first launched my consulting practice, I was a terrible salesperson. So I did the obvious thing. I invested thousands in online sales training, books on selling, and even hired a sales consultant to help me figure out what I was doing wrong. But the only thing I ended up learning was that all these trainings were missing the one thing that defined me as a consultant: empathy. I decided to go back and redesign my entire sales process with an empathy-first mindset. And within days of implementing this new system, I was closing tens of thousands of dollars in new business each week. The system worked so well that I knew I needed to share it. I've put together an online sales workshop that is unlike anything you've experienced in the past. Instead of manipulation, I'll teach you how to honestly connect with a perfect stranger. Instead of trying to withhold value until they buy, I'll teach you how to give them just the right amount of value to get them hooked. And instead of trying to make you sound like an infomercial during your close, I'll show you how to instantly align your pitch with your prospect's needs and ask for the sale in the easiest and most natural way possible. No more stumbling over your words as you ask for their credit card. But the best part is I'm going to show you how to do all of this in a single 45-minute sales call and master the one-call close. I'm so confident that this training will work that if for whatever reason this doesn't work for you, I will personally coach you until it does. The workshop costs less than a night out with your friends and will give you the skills you need to close millions of dollars in business each year. So if more money, less anxiety, and a greater sense of authenticity is what you're looking for, click the button below to register for this training. There are only 30 spots available, so register now to save your seat. See you there. So 155, all that effort, and I'm still at 155. I can't win them all. But you know what? I like it. I don't hate it. I do hate the fact that my background is like tilted, and I can't figure out if that is because, yeah, it's because this is tilted. That's exactly why it is. So let's try to fix that. All right, so that can't be right. All right, well that looks right. I'm gonna try it again. You guys will see these once they go live. I don't do a lot of editing on these, so like what I'm recording right now, you'll actually see. But yeah, let's give it a shot again. Are you a coach or consultant who dreads sales calls? Unfortunately, even with all the marketing tools, funnel systems, and advertising strategies out there, the best way to close new business, especially high ticket business, is through sales conversations. But unless you're a naturally gifted salesperson or enjoy the manipulative sales bro strategies you'll find all over your feed, there's just no training program out there that teaches you how to sell while staying true to your authentic self. So I created one. My name is Drew, and when I first launched my consulting practice, I was a terrible salesperson. So I did the obvious thing. I invested thousands of dollars in online sales training, books on selling. I even hired a sales consultant to help figure out what I was doing wrong. But the only thing I ended up learning was that all these trainings were missing the one thing that had defined me as a consultant: empathy. So I decided to go back and redesign my entire process with an empathy first mindset. And within days of implementing this new system, I was closing tens of thousands of dollars in new business each week. The system worked so well that I knew I needed to share it. So I put together an online sales workshop that is unlike anything you've experienced in the past. Instead of manipulation, I'll teach you how to honestly connect with a perfect stranger. Instead of trying to withhold value until they buy, I'll teach you how to give them just the right amount of value to get them hooked. And instead of trying to make you sound like an infomercial during your close, I'll show you how to instantly align your pitch with your prospect's needs and ask for the sale in the easiest and most natural way possible. No more stumbling over your words as you ask for their credit card. The best part, I'm going to show you how to do all of this in a single 45-minute sales call and master the one call close. So I'm so confident that this training is going to work for you, that if for whatever reason it doesn't work, I will personally coach you until it does. The workshop costs less than a night out with your friends, and it will give you the skills you need to close millions of dollars in new business year after year. So if more money, less anxiety, and a greater sense of authenticity is what you're looking for, click the button below to register for this training. There are only 30 spots available, so register now to save your seat. You know, you can't, there's one thing you can say about me. It's that I'm consistent. 155 again. So yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at in terms of the recording. So I think I like that one. I'll probably do one more. We're about out of time, so that's probably where we'll leave it. Let me just see what my schedule's like. If I'm gonna, yeah, I got a little bit of extra time, so I'm not gonna run into anything. So what I'll do is let's watch this one back. I'm just gonna see, because it doesn't seem like it actually saved that one, which is always very inspiring. Let's see, take 4. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Does Big View let you edit your mistakes out? Yeah, kinda. I mean, they have like a fixed eye contact thing, and you can like trim your video a bit, but honestly, it's just easier just to do a one take. Like, just get really good at reading a teleprompter, and don't worry, just do it that way. That's how I teach people to do it. It just makes your life a lot easier when you can just deliver the goods and not worry about it. So I'm gonna do this one more time, and hopefully one of these two actually turns out. Are you a coach or consultant who dreads sales calls? Unfortunately, even with all the marketing tools, funnel systems, and advertising strategies out there, the best way to close new business, especially high ticket business, is through sales conversations with our prospects. But unless you're a naturally gifted salesperson or enjoy the manipulative sales bro strategies you'll find all over your feed, there's just no training program out there that teaches you how to sell while staying true to your authentic self. So I created one. My name's Drew, and when I first launched my consulting practice, I was a terrible salesperson. So I did the obvious thing. I invested thousands of dollars in online sales training, books on selling. I even hired a consultant to help me figure out what I was doing wrong. But the only thing I ended up learning was that all these trainings were missing the one thing that had defined me as a consultant. empathy. I decided to go back and redesign my entire process with an empathy first mindset. And within days of implementing this new system, I was closing tens of thousands of dollars in new business each week. The system worked so well, I knew I needed to share it. So I've put together an online sales workshop that is unlike anything you've experienced in the past. Instead of trying to manipulate your way into a sale, I'll teach you how to honestly connect with a perfect stranger. Instead of trying to withhold value until they buy, I'll teach you how to give them just the right amount of value to get them hooked. And instead of trying to make you sound like an infomercial during your close, I'll show you how to instantly align your pitch with your prospect's needs and ask for the sale in the easiest and most natural way possible. No more stumbling over your words as you ask for their credit card. But the best part, I'm going to show you how to do all of this in a single 45-minute sales call and master the one-call close. I'm so confident in this training that if for whatever reason this doesn't work for you, I will personally coach you until it does. The workshop costs less than a night out with your friends and will give you all the skills you need to close millions of dollars of new business year after year. So if more money, less anxiety, and a greater sense of authenticity is what you're looking for, click the button below to register for this training. There are only 30 spots available, so register now to save your seat. See you there. 155. There was a mute all of your devices. That's the best thing I get. Mute all your devices. Don't let your devices just run wild, because that was so perfect in terms of like what I would want, and I got a ding at right like halfway through it. The other thing I forgot to do, which I'm glad I caught it now and not after I got a really good one in the can, but I forgot to wipe off my camera lens. Like these things live in our pockets and in our hands all the time, and they just get really gross. And you don't notice it until you go back and look at this footage on a big screen and you're like, oh my God, it looks terrible. Like, is my camera broken or something? It's like, no, there's just grease on it. It's just, it's natural hand oil that ends up on the lens that you don't notice, but I notice. And so I figure I'll fix that now, save myself the hassle later. Okay. So we'll do this one more time. And then I think we're going to be good. Are you a coach or consultant who dreads sales calls? Unfortunately, even with all the marketing tools, funnel systems, and advertising strategies out there, the best way to close new business, especially high-ticket business, is through sales conversations with our prospects. But unless you're a naturally gifted salesperson or enjoy the manipulative sales bro strategies you'll find all over your feed, there's just no training program out there that teaches you how to sell while staying true to your authentic self. So I created one. My name's Drew, and when I first launched my consulting practice, I was a terrible salesperson. So I did the obvious thing. I invested thousands in online sales training, books on selling, and even hired a sales consultant to help me figure out what I was doing wrong. But the only thing I ended up learning about was that all these trainings were missing the same... Son of a... I was feeling really good about that one. I was feeling really good about it. Let's try it again. Are you a coach or consultant who dreads sales calls? Unfortunately, even with all the marketing tools, funnel systems, and advertising strategies out there, the best way to close new business, especially high-ticket business, is through sales conversations with our prospects. But unless you're a naturally gifted salesperson or enjoy manipulative sales bro strategies you'll find all over your feed, there's just no training program out there that teaches you how to sell while staying true to your authentic self. So I created one. My name is Drew, and when I first launched my consulting practice, I was a terrible salesperson. So I did the obvious thing. I invested thousands of dollars in online sales training, books on selling. I even hired a sales consultant to help me figure out what I was doing wrong. The only thing I ended up learning was that all these trainings were missing the one thing that had defined me as a consultant: empathy. I decided to go back and redesign my entire process with an empathy-first mindset. And within days of implementing this new system, I was closing tens of thousands of dollars in new business each week. The system worked so well that I knew I needed to share it. I've put together an online sales workshop that is unlike anything you've experienced in the past. Instead of manipulation, I'll teach you how to honestly connect with a perfect stranger. Instead of trying to withhold value until they buy, I'll teach you how to give them just the right amount of value to get them hooked. Instead of trying to make you sound like an infomercial during your close, I'll show you how to instantly align your pitch with your prospect's needs and ask for the sale in the easiest and most natural way possible. No more stumbling over your words as you ask for their credit card. But the best part, I'm going to show you how to do all of this in a single 45-minute sales call. I'm so confident in this training that if for whatever reason this doesn't work for you, I will personally coach you until it does. The workshop costs less than a night out with your friends, and it will give you the skills you need to close millions of dollars in new business year after year. So if more money, less anxiety, and a greater sense of authenticity is what you're looking for, click the button below to register for this training. There are only 30 spots available, so register now to save your seat. See you there. So that was somehow like 52 seconds. So yeah, it's not easy to do this in one take. Like it's definitely a challenge. And I look at people that do their sales, their pitches in multiple takes, and like that is very the TikTok style. Like this TikTok style is not to do one long take. It just I'm a big fan of like get it up as quickly as possible and editing it. Then it goes into the edit queue with my team, and then it's got to wait behind my client's work because obviously I can't put my work in front of my client's work. And it's just this constant like Sophie's choice to get stuff done, and I hate that. So instead, I just like really rehearse this stuff. Like the ad I'm running on TikTok right now. So like if you ever see my ad on TikTok, I'm wearing a similar shirt, green background. It's probably take 15. Probably take 15. Right now, we're at take 7. So like I'm actually doing pretty good on this script. Now, granted, I practiced it like how many times as we were reading through it. I've been thinking about this script a lot. I've been like reworking it and stuff. So it's not going to take me as long. But if doing this in one take, like I would not be surprised if I have to do like at least one more take to get it polished. Because there was stuff in that last take I didn't like. Stuff that I like, and it's stuff that you probably wouldn't even notice. It's like little tiny, like I paused too long, or I put the emphasis on the wrong syllable kind of thing. So, or what is that? I put the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable. So either way, that's the whole thing is like, you just, when you get used to just doing it in one take, it's not as big of a deal, but it is hard to do. It's hard to start doing it that way. I just did it out of necessity. That's just how it needed to work. All right. So let's try this one more time. Try it one more time. Didn't realize these are kind of Christmas colors. I probably should have put something else on, but that's all right. Are you a coach or consultant who dreads sales calls? Unfortunately, even with all the marketing tools, funnel systems, and advertising strategies out there, the best way to close new business, especially high-ticket business, is through sales conversations with our prospects. But unless you're a naturally gifted salesperson or enjoy the manipulative sales bro strategies you'll find all over your feed, there's just no training program out there that teaches you how to sell while staying true to your authentic self. So I created one. My name's Drew, and when I first launched my consulting practice, I was a terrible salesperson. So I did the obvious thing, right? I invested thousands of dollars in online sales training, books on selling. I even hired a sales consultant to help me figure out what I was doing wrong. But the only thing I ended up learning was that all these trainings were missing the one thing that defined me as a consultant: empathy. I decided to go back and redesign my entire process with an empathy-first mindset. And within days of implementing this new system, I was closing tens of thousands of dollars in new business each week. The system worked so well, I knew I needed to share it. So I put together an online sales workshop that is unlike anything you've experienced in the past. Instead of manipulation, I'll teach you how to honestly connect with a perfect stranger. Instead of trying to withhold value until they buy, I'll teach you how to give them just the right amount of value to get them hooked. And instead of trying to make you sound like an infomercial during your close, I'll show you how to instantly align your pitch with your prospect's needs and ask for the sale in the easiest and most natural way possible. No more stumbling over your words as you ask for their credit card. But the best part, I'm going to show you how to do all of this in a single 45-minute sales call and master the one-call close. I'm so confident in this training that if for whatever reason this doesn't work for you, I will personally coach you until it does. The workshop costs less than a night out with your friends and will give you all the skills you need to close millions of dollars in new business year after year. So if more money, less anxiety, and a greater sense of authenticity is what you're looking for, click the button below to register for this training. There are only 30 spots available, so register now to save your seat. I'll see you there. That's the one, guys. That is it. So hopefully that sold, or hopefully that recorded and everything. So 8 takes, not too bad. 8 takes, and like, what did we do? Like 4 or 5 practice runs. So for those of you watching and who got to read that ad or got to see me read that ad 16 times, good for you for sticking around for it. For those of you who ducked out of here, I don't blame you. Either way, we got that going. So that part of it's done. I'll give you guys a little preview of what I'm cooking, where this is pointing to, what this is going to. This page isn't live yet, so you can't go to it. You can't buy anything. I'm not going to show you what the URL is or any of that kind of fun stuff, but I will show you what I got cooking in the kitchen here. So let's pull this up. Screen. Here we go. And I think I have to go back here and share. There we go. All right, so this is that page that I'm working on right now. I have to actually figure out where I put that page. Here it is. So this is what the page is going to look like. That ad is going to be a TikTok ad that then points to this page. And the idea here is, and this isn't, I'm still working on this, so this will be a checkout. So you click that, you pay $97. It comes with the webinar itself plus a coaching session to follow it. And then here are all the elements that are going to be included. And I have my sales letter, and my sales letter is pretty totally different from what the ad is, just in terms of content. Like, it's not just a replication of that, because the goal of the ad is to inspire curiosity, right? That's the thing. It's like, hey, I want to see what's in there. The goal of this page is to sell the program. So I'm not trying to sell the program in that first video. Like, I'm not expecting people to click it and then buy. I'm expecting people to click it, read this page, or at least scan through this page, click on the green button, and make a buying decision. So that's what we got. And then I got all my social proof here. These are all my lovely clients. Marcellus, you're in here somewhere. There you are, buddy. You're in there. And so we got and then we got some scarcity here at the end. This isn't right. I'm not doing it in 11 hours. I just haven't reset this yet. And then again, just reinstating like, hey, there's only 30 spots available. So that's it. That's really how it works. And like I said, I still have to write this video. I still have to do some other stuff. That's what I've been working on. So I hope you guys found this valuable today. It's I'll do more of these if people like them. I have other programs that I have to write stuff for. I have to write stuff for clients that I'm sure they wouldn't mind free promotion as I'm putting their stuff together. And if you guys have writing challenges, I would love to take them on. Like, just send them to me. I like doing this stuff a lot. So anyway, have a good day, or have a good week. Thursday, we should have my good friend Logan Hanks on the show from the Talk Dirt to Me podcast. We've worked with him for a number of years to get his podcast right now. Actually, we launched with him last year on that podcast. We'd worked with him before. We took him from about 200 monthly listens, I think, to about 10,000 in 3 months. So if you are in the podcast space, if you are in the audience space, if you are trying to grow your audience, you're not going to want to miss this. Make sure you check out growhouse.org. I always forget to do the self-promotion stuff, and then I get yelled at by my team. So check out growhouse.org if you're interested in booking a call with me, or you can message me here, leave a comment. We can chat. And if you want an ad written or something, shoot me a message. Maybe I'll put you on one of these live streams and we can hash it out together. So anyway, have a good rest of your week. I will see you Thursday. Thanks, everybody. Like, share, subscribe, do all the things that make this worthwhile. Appreciate you.